Pillar 3 here, BOP, trade, currency exchange. Balance of payment. It is a systematic record of all economic transactions made between resident and non-resident of a country for a specific time period. सिटीजनशिप के लिए नहीं, रेसिडेंटशिप के लिए. Central Bank of each country prepare BOP as per format given by IMF. Since any country's debit is credit for another country, so world's net BOP is zero. RBI's actual method of classifying BOP: current account and capital account. तो current account generally in deficit. इसमें goods and services, primary income, wage, dividends, interest, secondary income, remittance, gift, donation. Good and service, net trade in goods, BOT. Capital account, generally in surplus. FDI, FPI, loans or ECB, non-resident investment in bank, insurance or pension schemes, RBI's foreign exchange reserve. BOP, current or capital. करंट में विजिबल और इनविजिबल. विजिबल गुड्स BOT पे, इंपोर्ट डॉलर में, एक्सपोर्ट डॉलर में माइनस, एक्सपोर्ट में प्लस. इनविजिबल में आपका सर्विसेज, फैक्टर इनकम और प्राइवेट ट्रांसफर्स. तो सर्विस ट्रेड इन, नॉन फैक्टर इनकम, फैक्टर इनकम, प्रॉफिट, इंटरेस्ट, डिविडेंड. प्राइवेट ट्रांसफर, रेमिटेंसेस, डोनेशंस, गिफ्ट. Income accrued to factors of production. Capital, creating asset and liabilities. Investment, FDI, FPI. Loan, sovereign or ECB. Banking, NRI account. BOP से current account से balance of trade. N equal to note, equal to cash value, entity equal to value. Net terms of trade, entity, equal to value of exported goods upon value of imported goods. If entity is less than 100 in terms of value, imports are larger than exports. If entity is more than 100, reverse. Gross terms of trade, GTT. G, gram, weight. Gross TT equal to volume, volume of quantity of imported goods upon volume of quantity of exported goods. If GTT is below 100 in terms of volume, import are larger. Income terms of trade, ITT. Top exports, imports before corona. Goods, top imports और top exports. Decreasing share में petroleum, crude 22%, gold 6%, precious stones, coal, coke, briquettes, etc. Telecom, instruments, electronic components, organic chemicals, iron, steel, industrial machinery. Top export decreasing में petro products 14%, precious stones, drug formulations, biologicals, gold and precious metals, jewelry, iron and steel, organic chemical, cotton, motor vehicle, cars, electric machinery. Services, top imports, business service, travel, transport, software. Top export, software. During corona 49% of service export. Business service, travel or transport. Top import sources, China, USA, UAE, Saudi, Iraq. Export destination, USA, UAE, China, Hong Kong, Singapore. Trade deficit, China, cheap electronics, Switzerland, gold, luxury items, Middle Eastern nations, oil. Trade surplus, USA, chemical, textiles, etc. UAE, tea, spices, textile और बांग्लादेश. Import cover 13 to 14 months. At the rate 1991 BOP crisis, 2 week. Number of months of import that can be financed by forex reserves. Report or indices related to export and remittance. Export Preparedness Index, Niti Aayog. It ranks the Indian state based on various parameters. Overall, most of the coastal states are the best performance. Top 3: Gujarat, फिर महाराष्ट्र, फिर तमिलनाडु. 1, 2, 3. World's Bank Remittance Report. India receives largest amount. India, फिर China, फिर Mexico. World Bank also noted remittance have a direct impact on in poverty removal. Reducing imports. BOP current account import of oil. Government target to decrease oil import by 10% by 2022 compared to 2015. Therefore, boosting domestic oil exploration and production is necessary. So, to reduce current account deficit. Domestic oil exploration policies. NATAL, Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. 1991. Before 1991 LPG reforms, only ONGC and other PSC were allowed to explore oil or gas or hydrocarbon reserves in India. Under 1991 LPG reform, the sector opened for private players as well. 1997 New Exploration Licensing Policy (NELP) to what contact to public or private sector company using bidding or auction system. Limitations: separate license for each hydrocarbons. Need to pay share to government from profit. 2016 HELP Hydrocarbon Exploration and Licensing Policy. Single uniform license for all type of hydrocarbons. Government will receive a share irrespective of company's profit. Government not to interfere in marketing or pricing. Open acreage license policy. Company can pick up and choose the blocks from designated area even if no specific bids are invited by government before. Then government will invite other company for auction. India's strategic oil reserves, war or commercial purpose. OPEC 1991 headquarter Vienna, Austria. Qatar withdrew 2019. Russia not a member. Crude oil prices, supply side factor or demand side factor. Crude oil prices up when supply decreases. Whenever OPEC plus Russia agreed to reduce their oil production, attack on oil fields. Demand side factor, when demand increases, when economic growth in USA, China. Demand increases, corona unlocked travel increases. Crude oil prices down when supply increases, when OPEC plus Russia can't agree for production cut, when Saudi Arabia increased supply to reduce global price to harm Iranian oil export business, when USA also increased its own oil and shale gas production. Demand side pay, when demand decreases, when economic slowdown, demand decreases, lockdown, travel ban, Chinese imposing more taxes on imported American Japanese car, less car sales, less oil demand in China. 2021 India's biggest oil supplier, पहले पे ईरान, second USA, third Saudi. Cartel is an association of manufacturers who collude to keep high price high and keep the competitors away. Sweet crude oil, lower sulfur content. Sour crude oil, high sulfur content. Brent index to measure crude oil prices in Northwest Europe. WTI USA. Petrol diesel prices in India. 1970s 2002 administered price mechanism wherein government fixed the price of petroleum fuel and paid subsidy to oil OMCs marketing comp for their loss. 2002 to 14 government gradually began decontrolling fuel prices, less subsidies. Presently dynamic fuel pricing system where in OMCs will decide the price of petrol and diesel on daily basis based on movement in international prices using trade parity price formula. BOP current account or import of goods. Low interest rate on bank deposit. 2010 onwards high inflation droughts, shortage of pool and pulses, negative interest rate on deposits. Investment in gold increases, gold consumption increases, more trade deficit, more current account deficit, Indian rupee gets weaker. Gold transaction, black money, tax invasion. India is second largest consumer of gold after China. RBI and government launched schemes to reduce gold consumption. 2013 to 14 RBI's 80-20 scheme. RBI mandated that minimum 20% of imported gold must be exported back. Scheme stopped as gold craze declined. 2015 Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme. Page 19 पे 2015 Gold Monetization Scheme. RBI allows commercial banks accept customers' idle gold or jewelry for 1 year to 15-year tenure gold savings account, 2% interest. Gold goes to Metal and Mineral Trading Corporation of India. Redeem in gold or cash equivalent. MMTCI is an strategic disinvestment race. 2015 Indian sovereign gold coins issued by government companies Metal and Minerals Trading Corporation of India. Not fiat money. No legal tender. Benefit: trusted purity, easily liquidify. Profit if gold price high. Increasing export BOP, current export SEZ. It is especially demarcated area which is deemed as foreign territory for the purpose of tax law or trade law. In says area, tax on manufacturing not applicable, tax on import or export not applicable, tax on profit not applicable. This relief is a specific time period. This relief is for specific time period only. Tax holiday. SEZ Sunset Clause in Income Tax Act. IT Act provides tax holidays for such firms to for period of X years only. Benefits of such: single window clearance for various permission. Government will bear cost of developing roads, sewage, effluent treatment within SEZ. They are regulated under SEZ Policy 2000, SEZ Act 2005, Asia's first SEZ at Kandla, Gujarat 1965. At that time, it is called Export Processing Zones (EPZ). Baba Kalyani report on SEZ. Instead of giving blanket general tax holidays, SEZ should given a tax benefit linked to how many jobs created, how much FDI attracted, how much G&S, good and services exported, etc. SEZ should converted into employment and economic enclaves. Encourage MSMEs to create more jobs. Develop infrastructure. Focus on electronics for domestic production for domestic customers and need to have plan for import substitution. BOP current export GI tag. Tax credit for exporters. Merchandised export from India scheme MEIS merged into remission of duties and taxes on exported products. Commerce Ministry. RODTEP input tax credit for custom duty, input tax credit for custom duty, transport, fuel, electricity duty, etc. Mandi tax WTA compliant, not WTA compliant, so order to authorizes economic operator. Authorized economic operator, importer or exporter cargo company can apply for this. Status to CBIC, minimum 3 year experience, never filed bankruptcy, never caught in fraud. Faster clearance, very few examinations. BOP, capital account investment, FDI or FPI, foreign portfolio investors, FPI. It is a foreign entity registered at SEBI who buys up to 10% equity or shares of an Indian company. Originally, these were called FIIs or QFIs. In 2013, SEBI merged them into a single category FPI on recommendations of K. M. Chandrasekhar Committee. Primary objective: make money from buying and selling of shares through capital market or share market. They even help SEBI not register foreign investor by issuing P notes. FPIs are not involved in actual business of a company. If FPI is hopeful to get better return in other countries' share or bond markets, he may quickly sell his Indian securities and run away. Flight of such money, hot money. Weakening of Indian rupee, falling of Sensex. Example: HSBC, Morgan and Stanley, HP Morgan. FPI से फिर FDI, more than 10% equity and shares. Involved in management business of companies, more stable है ये, non debt है. 2018 Walmart USA bought 77% stake in Flipkart. 2020 FDI highest, sector wise computer software and hardware. Country wise Singapore. Prohibited in atomic energy, railway operations except metro and infra development, tobacco products, real estate business, farmhouse, chit funds, Nidhi company, betting, gambling, casino, lottery. Permitted through automatic route, nor government approval needed. Government route, respective minimum or departmental approval plus commerce ministry approval. Foreign investment 100% automatic permitted in agri, animal husbandry, planting sector, food processing company, asset reconstruction company ARC, credit information company CIC, core investment company CIC, white label ATM operation and other financial services, pharma biotechnology greenfield starting from ground, healthcare medical devices greenfield, broadcast of new news TV channels, printing of scientific and technical magazine, wholesale trading, single brand retail, e-commerce marketplace, township construction, housing infrastructure, leather, textile garments, industrial parks, mining and exploration of metal, non-metal, petro and natural gas, chemical coals, thermal or rain energy, civil aviation, selected airports, greenfield, brownfield, post and shipping, roads and highways, railway infrastructure, 2019 insurance intermediaries, 2019 coal mining, coal sale, etc. 2021 public sector oil gas refineries, example PCL disinvestment privatization target. Foreign investment with government's approval, sector automatic up to और गवर्नमेंट अप्रूवल. तो पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स इसमें नहीं है, 20% अप्रूवल है. मैगजीन प्रिंटिंग डिजिटल मीडिया अभी तक नहीं, 26% का अप्रूवल है. न्यूज़ टीवी चैनल एफएम रेडियो अभी नहीं है, 49% का अप्रूवल है. रीट और इनविट कंपनी में नहीं, 49% अप्रूवल. बैंक और प्राइवेट सेक्टर में 49 का ऑटोमेटिक अप टू है और 49 to 74% अप्रूवल है. टेलीकॉम सर्विसेज, प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज, एयर ट्रांसपोर्ट सर्विसेज में 49% ऑटोमेटिक है, अब 49 के लिए अप्रूवल है. इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में 74% ऑटोमेटिक कर दिया है और गवर्नमेंट अप्रूवल नॉन रिगार्डिंग. डिफेंस 74% ऑटोमेटिक है, अब 74% के लिए अप्रूवल है. ब्राउनफील्ड फार्मा बायोटेक हेल्थ केयर में 74% ऑटोमेटिक है, अब 74% के लिए गवर्नमेंट अप्रूवल. सैटेलाइट ऑपरेशन के लिए ऑटोमेटिक नहीं है, 100% गवर्नमेंट अप्रूवल चाहिए. Foreign investment in e-commerce, buying or selling of goods and service over digital electronic network. Two subtype, inventory based e-commerce company owns inventory of goods and sells to customers directly. यहाँ FDI not permitted है. Marketplace based e-commerce company merely provide web portal or app to act as facilitator between buyer and seller. 100% FDI allowed here. Because government want village artisans should register and gain profit. Investment, miscellaneous terms and reports. Golden visa, special type of visa given for an investor, property buyer, celebrity, sportsman, scientist, very talented students. System prevalent in Spain, helps the nation to attract investor and talented persons. UNCTAD's World Investment Report, UN Conference on Trade and Development, headquarter Geneva. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry looks after external and internal trade, WTO, dumping, SEJ, FDI related issues, TIPP, DCAM 2019, DPIIT. Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion है यहाँ, ये है Department for Promotion of Industrial and International Trade. Before or from April 2020, if any FDI proposal come from Pak, Bangladesh requires GOI approval. अगर 2020 के बाद if any FDI from any country that shares border with India, government's approval required. MOC and I, International Financial Service Center, IFSC, nation not apply local taxation and investment norms to this center. It is FISC. Such places become a hub for international financial companies and investment bankers. Trickle down benefits for local people, example CA, accountant, taxi operator sector. IFSC in New York, Hong Kong, Singapore. In India, Gift City. Gujarat, International Finance Tech City. IFSC such a gift are set up under SEJ Act. IFSC Variable Capital Companies VCC. It is a special type of company that creates multiple subsidiary fund or companies that run several collective investment schemes. Example, investing in share bonds, startups acting as FPI in other nations. VCC has a greater operational flexibility than MF, LLP companies, etc. 2021 IFSC authority has constituted KP Krishnan committee to see feasibility of allowing VCC in IFSC. BOP capital account miscellaneous concept NIIP net international investment position NIIP equal to value at overseas asset owned by nation minus value of domestic asset owned by foreigners. Positive NIIP is creditor nation, negative NIIP is debtor nation. USA highest, India 8th. Debt overhang. Because of high debt, all new money income will be gone in repayment of previous loan installment. This phenomenon is known as debt overhang. It destroys enthusiasm and motivation or to hard work. Increase chance of loan default. BOP summing up. ये जो है 57 बिलियन करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट प्लस कैपिटल अकाउंट सरप्लस प्लस एरर एंड ओमिशन प्लस ओवरऑल बैलेंस प्लस ओवरऑल रिजर्व ट्रांजैक्शन और मॉनेटरी मूवमेंट इन आरबीआई's फॉरेक्स इक्वल टू नेट बीओपी दैट इज़ 0. ये जो है यहाँ तक जो है ये आपका हो गया ऑटोनॉमस ट्रांजैक्शन अकर इंडिपेंडेंटली ऑन देयर ओन विदाउट आरबीआई's इन्वॉल्वमेंट. और जो ये वाला हिस्सा है ओवरऑल रिजर्व ट्रांजैक्शन का ये एकोमोडेटिंग ट्रांजैक्शन है. आरबीआई विल डू इट बेस्ड ऑन वेदर वी हैव सरप्लस और डेफिसिट. स्टेरिलाइजेशन टू गेट नेट बीओपी 0 आरबीआई's एक्शन वुड रिजल्ट इन इंक्रीज मनी सप्लाई इन इंडियन मार्केट. उससे इन्फ्लेशन इंक्रीज ओएमओ टू एब्जॉर्ब्स एक्सेस करेंसी बैक कॉल्ड एज स्टेरिलाइजेशन. मंडल फ्लेमिंग ट्रिलेमा. Economist Robert Mundell and Marcus Fleming argues that three things can't be accomplished together. Keep capital account open, relax capital account convertibility to boost economy, keep exchange rate stable, and keep monetary policy independent. ये impossible treaty है. India's BOP crisis 1991. Nowadays, India usually has current account deficit due to crude oil import, but there is usually sufficient surplus in capital account. FDI or FPI to counter or offset that current account deficit, but before 1991 many sectors nationalized, mismanagement, inefficiency, inspector quota, license raj, competition come, innovation come, low export, policy makers restricted FDI FPI fearing USA CIA's invisible hand in Indian affairs. Swadeshi industries and NAM will be harmed. Result: high current account deficit, not enough surplus in capital account to counter. Therefore, we have pledged our gold to IMF to borrow dollar. Disequilibrium in BOP. Factors responsible. Development disequilibrium. Poor nations have to import more adverse BOP. Secular or long-term disequilibrium. Newborn nations are usually poor and backward, so import is more than export. Consumerism and demonstration effect. Rich people try to copy Western lifestyle, so import more. Adverse BOP. Structural disequilibrium. If transport, electricity, infra is poor, technological backwardness होगा, इससे export cannot improve. Cyclical disequilibrium. When two countries may be passing through different phases, boom or slowdown, mismatch in export, import, FDI, etc. RBI's Forex Reserve. Forex Reserve component in decreasing order of size. First, foreign currency assets. Foreign currency G-Secs bonds in foreign country. Second, gold. Third, reverse tranche position in IMF. Fourth, special drawing rights of IMF. 2020 India after became 5th largest forex reserve. China, फिर जापान, फिर स्विट्जरलैंड, फिर रशिया, फिर इंडिया. USA is not in top 10 list. Currency exchange rate. Price of currency in terms other currency is called exchange rate. also known as nominal exchange rate, because it does not take into consideration inflation or purchasing power in respective countries. There are foreign exchange market dealers are called authorized forex dealers. They have get registered with RBI under FEMA. Currently, transaction services are also subjected to GST but on partial amount. Economist James Tobin suggested Tobin tax on currency exchange transaction to discourage speculative trading. Exchange rate regime theory. एक्सचेंज रेट्स फ्लोटिंग और फ्लेक्सिबल, और एक तरफ फिक्स्ड और पैक्ड है। तो फ्लोटिंग और फ्लेक्सिबल पहले देखते हैं। ऑल्सो नोन एज क्लीन फ्लोटिंग सिस्टम। एक्सचेंज रेट इज डिटरमाइंड बाय मार्केट फोर्सेस। इफ रुपए वीकन्स कॉल्ड डेप्रिसिएशन, इफ रुपए स्ट्रेंथन्स कॉल्ड एप्रिसिएशन। फिक्स्ड और पैक्ड, इसमें सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ कंट्री इटसेल्फ डिसाइड्स एक्सचेंज रेट। इफ करेंसी वीकेंड बाय सेंट्रल बैंक नोटिफिकेशन डीवैल्यूएशन टू बूस्ट एक्सपोर्ट, तो यहाँ रीवैल्यूएशन होगा। ठीक। मैनेज्ड फ्लोट और डर्टी फ्लोट, it is the middle path between two extremes. In ordinary days, RBI will let market forces to decide exchange rate, but if there is too much volatility, then RBI will intervene to buy sell dollar to keep volatility controlled. बाय के केस में डेप्रिसिएशन और सेल के केस में एप्रिसिएशन ऑफ रुपए होगा। चैलेंजेस: करेंसी स्पेकुलेशन एंड इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, करेंसी मैनिपुलेशन, central bank buying dollar to create artificial scarcity of dollar in forex market, dollar is equal to expensive, rupee equal to weak, boost to exports. Exchange rate regime historic, fixed exchange rate system, keeping gold in reserve. Central bank governor has promised to convert their currency into gold at fixed amount. American economist Robert Triffin claimed this system will collapse eventually because gold is finite commodity and its price will continue to rise. People will convert and sell in market. Banks weren't able to continue honoring their promise to full convertibility. It was called Triffin dilemma. Therefore, he suggested alternative SDR paper gold system for IMF. Currency exchange in India. 1995 onward minimum reserve system is continued, but RBI is required to only keep rupee X crores of gold. No compulsion for RBI to keep additional 400 crore worth foreign currency or securities. RBI can print as much currency it wants as long as it is balanced by asset of issue department. Example G-Sex, gold, foreign security, etc. IMF or SDR. SDR is called paper gold. SDR can be traded among members. It can be converted into members' currency and can be used to settle their BOP crisis. If huge BOP crisis, country's entire SDR quota exhaust, then member country may borrow more SDR from IMF but have to repay with interest. Individual nations, central bank keep some of the SDR as reserve tranche position RTP. 2023 weightage of USD and Chinese renminbi increase. IMF quota reforms. 2016 total quantity of SDR increased. India quota increased 2.4 to 2.76%. 8th largest quota holder. USA 18%, Japan 7%, China 6%. 2021 IMF members approved adding extra SDRs. Members' voting power depends on his SDR quota. Currency convertibility. India has presently floating exchange rate system. However, RBI will intervene during high volatility times. If people are allowed to convert local and foreign currency in an unrestricted manner, increase volatility that RBI will not be able to manage. So RBI keep restriction on convertibility of rupee to foreign currency under FERA 1973 and replaced by FEMA 1999. RBI's restriction on convertibility of rupee. Convertibility on capital account transaction. RBI ECB ceiling, external commercial borrowing ceiling, is up to $750 million per year or equivalent currency for Indian company. Even if Bank of America was willing, reverse also nahi. willing to lend $1,500 million. Indian company can't bring those dollar to India. If he uses Hawala, then ED is there. FPI can't invest in more than 5% of available GSECs in market Indian and more than 20% of available corporate bonds. Thus, Indian rupee is not fully convertible on capital account transactions, ECB, FDI or FPI. Convertibility on current account transaction. Indian rupee is fully convertible on current account transactions. Import, export, remittances, income transfer, gift, donation, etc. Convertibility assessed Tarapur Committee 1997 suggested that India should allow full capital account convertibility CAC only when fundamentals of our economy become strong enough, such as RBI must enough forex to sustain 6-month import, fiscal deficit must be not be more than 3.5% of GDP, inflation less than 3 to 5%, bank NPAs less than 5% of their total assets. Convertibility RBI's reform 2004 liberalized remittances scheme, amount more flexibility in using capital or current account transaction. 2016 RBI began relaxing norms for ECBs, mainly to soften an NPA problem. 2019 RBI allowed ECBs even for working capital and repayment of rupee in loans. 2020 technical reforms. 2019 voluntary retention route VRR. If FPI buys GSECs or corporate bond through VRR, then will be given more freedom, but FPI must remain invested for 3-year minimum. Limit on investment. 2020 full accessible route FAR. Non-resident who are not FPI can buy GSEC. No limit on amount of investment for attracting dollars. FCRA 2010 Foreign Contribution Regulation Regulating Act. If NGO or universities were allowed to accept foreign donation in an unrestricted manner, they may become puppets of ISI, PAK, China, CIA. So Home Ministry requires them to register and furnish reports under FCRA 2010. 2020 amendment of in FCRA Home Ministry restricted the use of foreign funds for their activities and transfer to their philanthropic organization within country. Miscellaneous concepts. Quantitative easing. 2007 to 8 subprime crisis USA. Borrowers unable to pay back home loans. American banks NBFC NPAs increased. To help them, US Federation Reserve printed new dollars and used them to buy those toxic assets NPAs. Increased dollar supply in a system is known as quantitative easing. Fed tapering. 2013 American Central Bank US Fed Reserve gradually cut down its asset repurchasing program. Less new dollar issued. This is called Fed tapering. Taper tantrum. Shortage of dollars in USA. That is loan became expensive. ये इसका result. American investors selling share or bonds in other countries and took their dollars back to USA. Taper tantrum है ये. Helicopter money. Concept by Milton Friedman 1969. To combat recession, a central bank should supply large amount of money to public at near zero interest, as if money was being showered on them from helicopter. More consumption demand, for more factory jobs, economic growth.